Special edition of Triad today, speaking with the gubernatorial candidates. And Jay Paul, our director, if we can see a shot of not just a mayor, but a 7-term mayor of the city of Charlotte. Very popular Mayor Pat McCrory, Republican candidate for governor. Welcome, Mayor.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be in Winston-Salem.
Well, let's get right into some issues. I want to get to as many things as we can. I know that we don't have a lot of time, but let's see what we can cover. You support George Bush on the war, basically.
Yeah, I'm very pleased, at least with the past year. I think Petraeus has done a good job.
But we're using National Guardsmen from North Carolina. Now, as a governor, wouldn't that bother you?
It would bother me, but as a governor, you also have to care about our national interest. And the only thing I would recommend is that the president work more with the governors, understanding the needs to deal with natural disasters and other things, which North Carolina often has. As mayor, you know, I've had to deal with the 100-year flood, the 100-year snowstorm, the 100-year drought. And so as governor, what I'd make sure is that we have plenty of guardsmen back here to deal with the natural disasters.
Industry incentives, which I've railed against on this show many times before, have proven pretty much to be nothing more than shifting jobs from one state to the next or from one locality to the next. As governor, would you support Judge Orr's position that we need to do away with these industry incentives?
I don't think it's realistic to say we do away with all of them, because there are some special circumstances which I've done in Charlotte in which I've had to give them. But you ought to have a very specific, conservative way in which you give them, and you've got to make sure you're not being played by middle people, where the industry would come with or without incentives. It would make very little difference. But I've done some incentives from very select manufacturing, especially in areas of our city in which industry is just left totally, not just to other states, but to other countries.
Right, and of course, you know, as governor, you could ascend to, let's say, the chairmanship of the Southern Governors Association, and wouldn't it be great if all of them got together, 20 or 21 governors, and said, you know, we're not going to do this
Well,
anymore.
I'm actually trying to make a deal now with Governor Sanford as mayor of Charlotte, because they're trying to steal industry to move 10 miles down the road, and I'm not going to compete against them. It's ridiculous. Because we're all in the same region anyway, and there's no reason to let the political boundary play us.
I agree. As governor, would you be willing to push for a cap on health care premiums, given the fact that so many people can't pay their premiums, given the fact that Blue Cross Blue Shield's executives who are making, some of them $2 million a year, giving themselves 20% raises while they're raising premiums 20%. It's all out of whack. Would you think of maybe capping the premiums?
I think the first thing I'd do before considering capping premium is trying to reduce the number of required mandates that the state of North Carolina requires for health insurance programs. We're one of the most heavily mandated states for programs where you have to have a huge laundry list to qualify for any private insurance. And there are some things like eye care or other things you might not want.
Exactly.
And there's no reason you should pay for them. So I would first push for governor to have a more menu of selections on things I would or would not want.
But you wouldn't mind going up against Blue Cross if you had to?
If that's what it takes.
Okay.
We've got to work together as a team in this whole effort. There's no easy solution to health care, but the first solution is to allow people to select from a menu, because there are some things that we're required to buy that some people don't need.
Are you for deporting illegal immigrants, and do you believe that crime, especially let's say an area like Charlotte, Mecklenburg, is a major problem from or by illegal immigrants? What do you think?
Absolutely. There's a huge number of, in fact, in our prison, we probably have, our local prison in Mecklenburg County has up to 15 to 20% Latino, and it's estimated at least 80 to 90% of them are illegal immigrants. So that number was almost zero 10 years ago, so it's obviously having an impact on crime. In fact, I'm sorry to report today that we just had a shootout with a gang member from El Salvador, from New York, outside of Charlotte, where he shouldn't have been here in the country to begin with. As governor, the first thing I'll do is demand from the president that we have an immigration court in the state of North Carolina and an immigration detention facility. The closest one is in Atlanta, Georgia.
Too far away to handle the problem we have.
It's ridiculous.
The final question is, our friend Richard Vinroot was rejected by voters in both primaries and general elections over the last 2 elections, because they're saying, and this is the feeling of a lot of people, if you're a mayor of Charlotte, if you're from that big metropolitan area, you really don't care about the rest of the state. You don't have your finger on the pulse of the rest of the state. That's why we didn't have a Vinroot get elected. Now here you are, mayor of Charlotte. Folks have misinterpreted things you've said before, saying, well, he's only going to look out for Charlotte-Mecklenburg area. Do you have a feel for what the smaller cities need, and can you break that Charlotte
Well,
curse?
first of all, I'm finding out smaller cities have gang problems and illegal immigration problems, so my message is resonating. This gang issue and this crime problem is a serious problem throughout North Carolina, including right here in Winston-Salem. In fact, Alan, your mayor, and I have, Alan and myself have been, Joins and I have been working very closely together. In fact, I have a proven track record of the mayor of Charlotte with working with the Winston mayor, the High Point mayor, the Greensboro mayor. In fact, we're good friends on issues of crime, of transportation. You know, isn't it time we put the roads where the cars are instead of where the powerful politicians happen to live?
Yeah.
And isn't it time that the state backs up the police and the victims of crime so when we arrest them the first time, they're put in jail?
Exactly.
And that's one of the reasons I'm running for governor.
All right, will you come back and do another one with us sometime?
I'd love to. Thanks for having me.
Mayor,
I appreciate
thanks a lot.
it. Thank you very much.
Well, my thanks to Mayor Pat McCrory, also to Governor Beverly Perdue, Judge Robert Orr, Senator Fred Smith, and Bill Graham for participating in this special voter education edition of Triad Today. The North Carolina primary is May the 6th, and I encourage every eligible voter to take part.